Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. We're back on the internet together again today. We've got a number of news bulletins to watch today. Some of these are very, very interesting and really highlight the issues in our country today. The first one here is Jacinta Allen clashing with a reporter over being questioned about transgender transitioning education in primary schools. Let's watch this. We'll watch how angry she gets when questioned and with when getting pressed for information.
Sorry, maybe let me finish and then we can...
The Northern Territory has made an announcement that they won't have trans women in female prisons. Will you look to enact something similar here?
I've got no announcements to make on that matter today.
Just on a similar issue, are you comfortable with the fact that kids in Victoria are able to socially transition their gender at school without their parents' knowledge or consent, and without any safeguards in place to ensure that the child who's been deemed a mature minor to make that decision and the teacher who's made the decision to deem the child a mature minor are aware of the consequences and serious risks that that decision involves?
So, Rachel, are you giving an example or providing a proposition?
I don't know whether you saw the story that the Australian published.
No, sorry, I haven't read the story in the Australian.
It was quite extensive. We had a representative group from a parents group who said that this decision is being made indiscriminately in Victorian schools. And
indiscriminately?
Yeah, and that there are a number.
Widespread, is it? Is that the claim?
That's a quote, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
And this is a parent.
Look at her horns come out. She's just about snarling here. Love it. True colours shining through.
Parent whose child has been in one of these situations.
So when we should do this on
Get ready for the bullshit.
Whether it's issues around community safety, discussions around the importance of treaty, respecting our multicultural communities, or indeed the serious and deeply personal matters around kids who are working through the challenges of being a kid today, their adolescence. They might be questioning their identity.
Can you get any more fake as a human being? So she's been asked a direct question. Now she's pulled out some pre-prepared speech to re-divert the conversation.
Identity. They might be thinking about their gender and how they fit into our community. We should come to all of these debates.
They're 5 years old, dude. They're not having debates about where they fit in society. They're 5 years old. They're sitting in the classroom, picking their nose and eating it. Right? That's what they're doing. Try not to shit their pants before they have to go to the toilet. That's all they're thinking about when they're going to get their next ice cream. Not do I want to transition. I'm trapped in the wrong body at 5 years old. Come on.
And discussions in a responsible way. One that does not put reckless misinformation into the public debate that causes harm.
Are you
if you can let me finish, Rachel. If you can let me, Rachel, if you can let me finish, and I'll happily
get into her, Rachel.
But I'll come back and answer your question. It is a responsibility on all of us, those who stand behind the microphone and answer the questions, and those who ask the questions.
Hasn't even answered a question. Good on you, Rachel. Keep laying the boot in. We're going to run in commentary here, but Rachel does not let go. It's great.
To ensure that in raising these matters, they are matters that can be raised, but they are done so in a respectful way, in an accurate way, that does not bring greater harm to people in our community. And on this matter particularly, this is particularly important that we come to these discussions in a responsible way, because we know that transgender kids are 15 times more likely to commit suicide. So I would hope, Rachel. Well, you're going to dispute the higher rates of suicide amongst transgender kids.
Figures from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare who say that there are no credible statistics on that they don't have the data to verify that.
Rachel, I'm not going to engage with you in a debate about the different levels of the rate of suicide amongst transgender kids. I am just not. That is just so deeply irresponsible.
Look how she diverted it. She's the one who brought it up. She just said you're talking shit, Jacinta. And I'm not going to discuss this. How dare you bring it up? No, you brought it up.
Because the data that I have says that transgender kids...
From an activist group.
Rachel, I will answer your questions if you give me the opportunity to complete the question that you have asked before you interject with another one. So can we behave, if we can have this responsible discussion, that would be the most appropriate way, and then we can finish up this press conference. And this is, I think, as I was saying, the data says that transgender kids are 15 times more likely to commit suicide than the rest of the child population.
Exactly right, because they go and transition and do things that they don't even know they're doing, and they probably want to neck themselves. I'm not saying that as a joke. Have a think about it. Getting confused by the school system into thinking they're a girl trapped in a boy's body or a boy trapped in a girl's body, it's sickening. Leave the kids alone. Keep the shit out of schools. They shouldn't even know it exists. And this is a university indoctrination complex making its way into your primary schools. All this leftist woke stuff. Leave the kids alone. Wait until they're an adult if they want to make decisions, or of someone who is a bit more mature, not 5 and 6 or 8 years old or 10 years old.
And so when they are coming to these challenges, these challenging issues around their identity, who they are in our society, they deserve our love and support. They deserve information, a health system that supports them, a school system that supports them. They do not deserve, for the purposes of ideological campaigning and the politics of division, to have this sort of commentary run, because it hurts. It harms, and Rachel, I am not going to engage with you on this because it is a deeply disrespectful way that you have presented a most serious issue that so many families are grappling with in our community.
Premier, I've been speaking to parents, medical experts and legal experts. No one is attempting to be disrespectful. Everyone I've spoken to, and the opinion, and certainly my pure motivation in this is concern for the children involved, and that's the motivation.
Look at the complete look at disdain. She doesn't want to hear it because it's not fitting in with her wokest view on the world. She hasn't been disrespectful in any way.
So I don't quite understand why you're accusing me of being disrespectful. And is that what you're doing? Are you accusing me of being disrespectful? Are you accusing the parents and legal and medical experts who are concerned about this as being
Rachel,
disrespectful?
I think not letting me answer your questions is not respecting the conduct of a press conference.
Another one on gambling. Is there any time frame on when that mandatory with-hearted play will be rolled out more broadly yet?
I'll have to get the Minister to come back to you on that.
You're getting quite emotional about this issue, Premier. Is something close to you, or what's, I guess, driving that feeling?
Yeah, well, I created the portfolio of the Minister for Children for a reason, because I want all kids to have the opportunity to learn and grow, be safe, to have access to a good quality education.
Look at this fake. It's like a human suit on a lizard. Leave the kids alone. It's not safe. You're putting shit in their heads. Kids want to outdo each other. Oh, yeah, I'm going to turn into a girl and I'm going to turn into a boy.
But also to be strong, proud participants in our community. I passionately believe in that we need to work harder to give all kids the opportunity, an equal opportunity. And that some of our most vulnerable kids do deserve. So yes, I do get emotional about this matter because it's deeply important. We should all think about how these kids struggle. And I've talked to some
5-year-olds, come on.
of these families too. I've talked to some of these families. I've understood what goes
Pretty
on
sure
in
you
the
haven't.
respectful relationships programs in our schools. And it's about making a difference and supporting them. That's why I get very angry, Benita. I get very, very angry when kids are put at greater risk because of reckless, dangerous commentary.
Exactly what they're doing. Reckless, dangerous indoctrination in schools. All right, let's move on. Well done, Rachel. You earned my vote if you ever go for office. All right, what's all this debacle? Lydia Thorpe. I want to talk about pro-Palestinian protesters who are not from Israel. I can't understand it.
Opposition leader Susan Lee has requested a formal investigation into Senator Lydia Thorpe's threat to burn down Parliament House. Here's a reminder of what Lydia Thorpe said at the weekend.
So we stand with you every day, and we will fight every day, and we will turn up every day. And if I have to burn down Parliament House to make a point, and I am there to free Palestine from...
Oh, get out of it. And you had to get the Aboriginal flag draped over it. What does Aboriginals have to do with freeing Palestine? It's just people jumping on for a bandwagon onto the platform. Aboriginals got nothing to do with it. You got LGBT plus, your Palestine Action Group. You know what they do to gay people over there and transgenders? You be thrown rocks will be thrown at you. If you're lucky, that's all you're going to get. Yeah, let's just all join up.
Susan Lee has written to the Senate President and to the Speaker of the House, warning that those comments, even if not meant literally, could be taken literally and risked further inflaming social tensions amid rising terror threat levels.
There is no doubt that's what it's doing. Yeah, okay, everyone knows she's not going to burn the building down. Oh, you have to be silly to think that she meant that. But she's inciting violence. She's inciting further protesting, further anger, getting people all riled up. People looking for a cause. And I'm not saying people that are from that part of the world don't have a cause. It's all these people that latch on. What's her pound of flesh with this whole thing? You get this other bloke you'll see, like this Ranger dude who you probably never been over there before, and he's leading the Palestine Action Group or whatever. Some bloke from bloody Richmond or Fitzroy or Collingwood.
Joining me now is National Senator Matt Canavan. Matt, thanks for coming on the program. What I'm curious about is why would Susan Lee need to write a letter? Shouldn't the Leader of the House and the Senate President automatically launch an investigation after hearing that, just as we all heard it?
Look, you would hope so, but it seems like the Labor Party is intent here, James, on whitewashing this incident. They're downplaying it. And look, I think this is in a different ballpark than other outbursts we've seen from Senator Thorpe. Previously, she's disrupted official proceedings, made a bit of a loud of herself on the streets of Melbourne. All things that are not desirable, but I've sort of parked them in the category of, well, the voters will have their say. But this is a call to conduct a violent act. And I know Senator Thorpe is now saying, I didn't mean it literally, but that's not what she said at the time.
Fuck, man, she's off her head, isn't she? She's as crazy as a cut snake. How does someone like that get in the Senate? Absolute Fruit Loop. Absolute nutter.
And this has to be taken much more seriously
Have a
than
look
the
at
government
it.
is doing. The last time an MP was expelled from the Parliament was in 1920. That MP simply said that he referred to the British Empire as this bloody and accursed empire, and he was expelled for disloyalty and sedition. Now, I don't know if we want to go exactly there yet, but there has to be steps down this path. There has to be serious sanctions here for any MP that is suggesting somehow the Parliament should be burnt down, or there should be any kind of violence towards our parliamentary democracy. If you're a member of that representative democracy, you shouldn't be able to get away with saying that should no longer exist.
I would have thought so, and we'll watch eagerly to see what takes place, if anything, in that situation. I want to ask you about One Nation leader Pauline Hanson's call for the PM to send Gazan asylum seekers home now that the fighting has ended, and to cancel the temporary visas that have been issued to about 786 Palestinians still to arrive from Gaza. Do you agree with Senator Hanson's call?
Well, there's no way we should be taking more people from Gaza now that the conflict is over. The
thing is, and they don't even vet people, and so people come over here. Australia's got a massive bleeding heart, welcome people with open arms, and then you find them in the streets protesting and burning the flag. If you're lucky, that's all they get up to. I'm going to leave it there. Let's move on to the next one. Halfway through, if you're enjoying the content, just consider subscribing. Tell me your thoughts. What are your thoughts on all this bullshit that's going on in our society at the moment? You would think that if you were to have come out of a cryogenically frozen capsule and started watching the news on a daily basis after 50 years, you would think you're on another planet. You would think you're in some sort of movie, some sort of comedy. So consider subbing, liking, sharing, all that sort of stuff. If you want to get into contact with me or want to support the channel further, you can. Links are in the video description or the pinned comment. Let's continue. So this is the bloke that I was talking about, and we'll start the thing from the start. But it's blokes like this. Palestine Action Group, this guy runs it. What are you doing, mate? Are you not an Australian? What are you doing here? Why are you creating all this rubbish in our streets? When I say rubbish, all these protesters, all this disruptive rhetoric and supporting terrorists, essentially. Like, I'll have another video after this, which is quite graphic, which is all breaking news.
I want to say something to the pro-Palestinian protesters in the West, the anti-Israeli protesters here in Australia, and the politicians like our...
All they are, they're just people grandstanding, virtue signalling, jumping onto a cause, trying to get a platform to be given attention. That's why you got Elbow on there getting involved in all this sort of stuff and saying that Australia recognises Palestinian state, and you got this other muppet screaming and carrying on in the streets like he's actually got skin in the game. And we'll get to that in a minute.
Our own Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Foreign Minister Penny Wong, who effectively have done their bidding, caved in to their demands by recognising the non-existent state of Palestine and breaking with the US and Israeli strategy of confronting Hamas. The protesters say they want peace. The politicians say they want a two-state solution. But the reality at the heart of the protest movement is really something more hateful. They want to get rid of Israel, as we heard on the weekend.
As long as Israel exists, a genocidal and apartheid regime, there will not be peace for the Palestinian people.
Mate, let's worry about Inner Fitzroy. Worry about Brunswick, dude. This is like, I don't understand it, okay? Yeah, people get behind causes and have a view on it and all that. Why aren't there people who have actual skin in the game leading these causes? They're using this guy as a mouthpiece. He's being completely used. He doesn't even realise it. He's too dumb to think for himself. Think about this. It's like me going and saying that I'm a Sudanese community leader and I'm talking about Sudanese issues. How would I know? I'm not Sudanese. You guys know what I'm trying to say here. There's no skin in the game. There's no true understanding of anything that's going on here. It's just he doesn't like what's going on, wants to jump behind the leftist bandwagon, and look what it does. You're more or less supporting Hamas.
Yeah, so now that the guns have been silenced and we hope for an enduring peace, we have to consider outcomes after all that death and destruction.
And that didn't last, because I'm going to show you a video shortly which shows what Elbow and this bloke, what his name, I don't even know what his name is, Brett Lee or whatever his name was.
After the slaughter of Israelis, the hostage deaths, military casualties, and up to 60,000 Gazans, perhaps up to half of them Hamas terrorists, but undoubtedly thousands of civilian casualties, including children. Well, we have to ask, what did Hamas achieve? I mean, look at Gaza. Large parts of it are levelled, so its people are homeless, just living day to day, and getting shelter and healthcare and food and water and electricity will be a challenge for many more months to come.
Look at that. That is just having a city wiped off the face of the earth, really, isn't it? If you look at some of the before and after photos from just a couple of years ago, it is incredible. Incredible. I suggest doing that. These are what humans are capable of. And these are what these people in our streets are supporting.
Now, if the peace holds, Gaza will be able to rebuild and it will be autonomous. It'll run its own affairs. But that's what they had before all of this started. Israel withdrew from Gaza in 2005. Their army had to forcibly remove Jewish families who were determined to stay there. And so the Palestinians have had Gaza for 2 decades. Tragically, they elected Hamas, and they were never able to shake off these Islamist extremist fanatics. And 2 years of war and thousands of dead Palestinians and the destruction of homes and infrastructure is the result. So that's what Hamas has delivered. By normal reckoning, by your standards and mine, you would say Hamas has failed. They've gained nothing from this mayhem. Gaza's gone backwards. Except that's not true. They've gained exactly what they wanted. Their sole aim, remember, is to eliminate Israel. Hamas's name actually stands for the Islamic Resistance Movement.
Anyway, look, I don't want to go into all the deep detail of this, but I think I could speak for many just normal, everyday Australian people. It doesn't mean white people. It means Australian people, people who live here, people who are permanent citizens here. I think everyone's sick and tired of this shit. All this division in our society, all these disruptive protests for things that are happening on the other side of the world. But a lot of people who don't even understand what it's about. I don't even really know what it's about. I've admitted that many times. But you know what I do know? I do know that most people are cracked to shits with it and are sick and tired of these people in the streets waving around flags and carrying on stupid. And also desecrating Australian flags, saying Australia has to burn and writing it on the ground and die Australia die and all this sort of shit. Fully supported by the Labor government and the Greens. And good old Albo, getting up and caving to pressure and saying we as Australian people, number one, want to even get involved in this, and then secondly, recognise it. Didn't ask me. He didn't put that one out to referendum, did he? Anyway, let's jump on. So this last one's a bit graphic. Not a bit graphic. It's pretty horrible what's happening out here. So this has only just come out a few hours ago. There was his whole ceasefire he was talking about, and now Hamas have come out and started executing Palestinian people who have gone against their cause. So good old pro-Palestinian protesters. Yeah, okay. Well, look what's happening over there now.
Square and shooting them from behind. Hamas confirmed the authenticity of the video. The group told Reuters they will not be tolerating any violations of order in Gaza. Palestinian security sources say dozens of people have been killed in clashes between Hamas fighters and rival tribal groups. And
this is Melbourne in about 10 years. This is where we're going to be. I'm not talking about this whole situation, but this is going to be like the major side of our population with all the immigration that's going on. We've already imported so much of this stuff over here that it has become such a big problem that it's on the news every day, protests and people carrying on over it. I know people crack the shits at me when I say, I don't want to know about it. It's on the other side of the world. It doesn't affect me in any way. Why do we worry about things that are happening in Australia? All the homeless people, people can't afford to buy homes, people without futures, mental health epidemic that's going on. Nah, don't worry about that. Let's all jump behind and jump on this cause. And look at that. Look at this get you.
In recent days.
Depends on what level you want to go down to, but you know, you've got Hamas and allied groups who are, if you like, of an Islamist stamp. You've also got non-Islamist hardline Palestinians who reject any accommodation with Israel. And then you've got some groups who are not allied with Hamas. And then you've got clans and families. In many cases, those people are against Hamas as well.
So what you got there is a power vacuum. We've seen this before. Joining us live on our Wednesday morning is our panel with two men with experience in intelligence communities in Canberra. Labor MP Julian Hill, Liberal MP Philip Thompson. Good morning to you both. So, Julian, I'll start with you here. How concerned are you about a war, if you like, within a war?
A war within a war, Pete?
A war within a war. You've got a war within a war. If you want me to spell it out, you've got a small kind of civil war between these rival groups in Gaza now, that small picture, while you've got the bigger war, which Donald Trump now has conceded is over.
Happy to comment on that. I thought you were talking about the Coalition and the Liberal Party.
Oh, come on, mate.
Look, that video is disgusting, and it reinforces the position the government's taken to list Hamas as a terrorist group and make clear that they can have no role in the future governance of a Palestinian state.
Philip, as someone who knows a bit about warfare, what do you make of this power vacuum?
Well, it's quite concerning, and hearing from President Trump earlier saying that if Hamas doesn't disarm, he'll disarm them. It is very concerning to see that there is conflict that is bubbled over again and executions happening. We should be keeping a close eye on it, because if it isn't controlled, it will explode into militia-style conflict throughout the region. It's something that we don't want to see, especially in times of peace talking.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we'd be facing if we went in with peacekeeping troops. John O'Duniam supported that yesterday. If we were asked, big caveat there, would you support that, Philip, peacekeeping troops to Gaza?
So that's going to happen. That's the next big conflict that now Australian taxpayers is going to have to fund, because they're going to be sending over the ADF over there and getting involved over there. That's the next big thing probably to blow up. Peacekeeping missions and foreign aid and all of that. Cool. As I said, I think it's horrible what's happening over that side of the world. I'm not trying to discount it at all, but it's on the other side of the world. Why are we here so caught up and worried about it? You would barely even hear about this stuff in the news 20 years ago. Wouldn't be every day something going on, Palestine stuff every single day. What do you guys think?
I think it's a bit early right now to be talking about sending Australians as peacekeepers, especially since we're only now seeing the release of hostages. Not all of the bodies of the hostages have been released. It's still in turmoil and conflict and things like that. It will put people in danger. And if you're going over to be a peacekeeper, it's not supposed to be in a kinetic role. You're not supposed to be gunfighting. You're supposed to be there to make sure that the peace is stable and happening with linking backs to the nation, the UN, the US. I don't think we're there yet because of these public executions. If Australians were there now, it would be a kinetic fight and it would draw in every other nation. So I think we've got to watch this from a distance, but also make sure that we're standing closely with our allies in the US and the UK and offer support where they think it's needed. But right now, it'd be in a gunfight.
How would you feel about peacekeepers, Julian?
I mean, the government would consider any requests for contributions to international efforts in the normal way. I'll make one point. I've said for years, I think on your show, Pete, in forums and elsewhere, that my view about this decades-old conflict is that it will only end when the world sets limits to the conflict and intervenes collectively to guarantee the security of the State of Israel and the Palestinian state.
We've got no footprint in this world. Why are we getting involved in this? Let the US fucking deal with it if they want to go and do what they got to do. Why? It just frustrates me. There's so much shit going on here for our local citizens. Yes, not as bad as people being executed and all these horrible things, but why is the focus on issues abroad? That's what I'm trying to say here. Issues abroad. I can tell you why, because there are so many people who have come in from those countries of origin who are stamping their feet and screaming for the government to do something about it. And now that it makes up a large portion of their voter base, they feel pressure to do so. Just like Elbow last week coming out and on behalf of every single Australian saying, giving Australia's opinion on the matter. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Guys, thanks for watching. If you were just as frustrated as me with the state of this world, let me know in the comments. As I said, I'm not a political activist, so I don't lean left or right or anything like that. I just talk about this news, and I'm just sick to death of seeing this all over the news every single day. All right, see ya.